Welcome back to my workshop. Welcome back to my garage. What we're doing today is we're moving on with our great guitar build off. What I'm going to do at the moment is I want to put a veneer on the headstock. So I've got some veneer. I've already cut it out, and what I'm going to do is mount it on here. I'll put a couple pins in, that way it doesn't slip. I want it tight up against the nut. So I'm going to fit all that together and then go in the process and clamp it and glue it. Then the neck, after that's done, I'll be able to profile out the design I want on the neck and go from there. There we go. This way the nut fits nice and tight in that slot. So I know by my headstock state, it's a reverse headstock. So what I'm going to be doing is it's going to have a swoop there, coming down to there, and this is going to swoop like this. So I know I can drill a hole right about here, and I know I can drill another one right about there. That way, it'll hold my veneer in place while I glue it, but it'll be cut away once it's all said and done. So I'm just going to put a couple toothpicks in there to hold it. And I'm going to go relatively close to the edge. And that hole is just going to allow the toothpick to slide right into there. That way I can pin it and it's not going to move anywhere when the time comes. I've kind of got the headstock shape cut in there, so it's going to swoop here and there. So these two holes are going to be completely gone. All right. Got some wax paper down. That way it doesn't make as much of a mess when the glue squeezes out. But I'm going to try and not get any glue down in that cavity. I really don't need it to, might as well just glue the whole surface, hadn't I? I want to try not to get any, as much as possible, into my tuner holes as well. Just don't need that aggravation when the time comes. There we go. Good distribution of glue. Get it lined up with the pin. There we go. Lined up with both pins. Looks like you always tend to need more clamps than what you actually have ready. Because I did not expect it to take this many clamps. Good. We have good glue squeeze out everywhere. All right, now it's time to let that dry. We'll let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow we can come back and we can cut the headstock shape in and actually start looking at getting the neck prepped and get it ready to mount into the body. Alright, so now I just want to start filing the bevels into this. I am going to bevel it at about a 45 to kind of match the body. And then there's going to kind of be a little bit of a bevel in this area down to where it exposes the other wood. I've got the initial carving of the headstock complete. Came up pretty nice. Got some nice scallops in it. Still need to do a little bit more smoothing. I'm rounding this over, and I'm rounding the tip over a little bit, so I just need to work on getting that symmetrical. But yeah, it's going to have the hard bevel on the tuner peg side, and then it'll have the softer bevels to the top. That's what we've got so far. Next step is going to be actually starting to mount the neck into the guitar, so I can start looking at where I'm going to mount my bridge. Alright, so it's time to glue the neck in. Got the fret ends taken care of with the fret sprout that happens, so those are down, so it'll be just ready for the fret dressing and stuff. Like I said, the headstock shape is in. It's looking pretty decent. Still got a little work to do there, but we're going to go ahead and get it mounted in the body. That way I can start looking at where I'm going to get my bridge and things like that placed at. Definitely take care of my squeeze out when I get it this time. I don't want a lot of glue out on the wood. It's going to be causing issues. So wood swells up when that glue gets on it. Sure does. Make sure I get the clamp and cawls on it. Ow. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see it, but got nice squeeze out all the way around. Just a slight little couple bubbles right there, which is perfect. All the way around. So now it's just time to go ahead and get this cleaned up, make sure this is good and clamped in, and we'll call it a day. Alright, so now what I've got to do is I've got the neck glued in. Came out really nice. Now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start reshaping and shaping this heel a little bit. I've got to do a little bit of reshaping on the neck heel just to slide that back a bit further to kind of blend it in a bit better, and then I'm going to do some roundovers here. And then I'll also be doing some roundovers on the body as well. So, you know, I'll show some of it. I'm not going to video all of this because it's going to be a little bit of carving going on with this. So, you know, I'm not going to video everything, but you'll get the gist of it. Alright, so I finished all the initial carving. As you can see, I got the neck heel reshaped a little bit. Cut down on that neck a little bit in the inside there where the heel was coming out on the neck, get it closer to the body. I've contoured the body heel a little bit so it's nice and got nice access there. And got my belly carve in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the final sanding on this because I do want to start putting the grain filler in and start doing the finish soon, and that way it gives me time to finish the pickups and get all the pickups and get the electronics ready to go in, and that'll give me a good couple weeks of letting the finish cure on this. Let me get several coats on and then let it cure. So that's my plan. I've also resculpted the headstock. I had initially kind of rounded it right here over, and I didn't like it, so I went ahead and just squared it back up with the bevel. So that's my final headstock shape there. Alright, seeing how I'm working on the sanding, and you can see I've done a lot of the finish sanding already. The heel sanded really nice and everything, and I want to start getting the top sanded to where I can just move forward with everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my bridge positioned to mount. So what I've done is I have got my center line, you can see right here, and then I laid a flat edge down each side of the neck, and then I marked, it's a 27 scale length at the top and it's a 25.5 scale length at the bottom. So right there, those dots are where I want to put the middle of the saddles kind of in that spot. What I'm doing now is just verifying that my center line is still my center line. And yes, so center line was still the center line, so that's good. Nothing changed there. So the next step is I'm using the HipShot bridge. So it's got 3 screws on it that mounted in, and then it's a string through for the strings. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the I'm going to put some tape on here to mark where the lines are at the edge. So that bit of blue tape right there is connecting the 2 dots. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually pull the saddles off the bridge so I can line up the 3 holes. And but everything should line up just perfect. Then I can mount the bridge and then mark my holes for my string through, drill the pilot holes for that. Eventually, I may not do it right now. I may just get the bridge 3 screws mounted. That way, when I sand the top, I don't have to worry about where my center line is anymore. And I can press on with my finish sanding and get everything sanded. That way I can put my grain filler on everything and get moving forward with that. And as you can see, I kind of got it set in the middle for it. I'll lay it on, and then that way I can kind of lay everything kind of where it's going to be. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill my holes for my string through on the bridge. That way I can take the bridge back off and then get my furls and stuff from the back. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this episode. What we've got is we've pretty much got a guitar body sanded down. Still a little bit of spot sanding left to go on it. I found a couple spots as I was feeling around it that just aren't quite right yet, so I'm going to have to give them a little bit more, but the heel came out nice. Shaped that neck just a little bit into there, and then contoured the body down a little bit to where the hand access is really nice right there. It's just really comfortable for the palm to fit in. I've got my lines nice and crisp for the maple where it transitions. I've got just a little bit of a bevel on the back. I've got the holes drilled to mount my bridge. I've also got the holes drilled for the string through. I still got to enlarge them on the back for the furls, but that's I'll wait for that. I've put in the initial spots for my tone control, my volume control, and 3-way switch, and that's all it's going to be. It's going to be a single volume, single tone, and then a 3-way toggle to switch between the 2 pickups. I've got my headstock shaped, sanded down, profiled, ready for tuners and that. So the next step on this is going to be to grain fill it. I'm going to do an oil finish more than likely, but I do want to grain fill it towards a nice smooth finish on it. And then I'm going to be doing some dyes on the top, a burst with some dyes on the top. I've got to experiment a little bit with that. But that brings us up to date. Really all that's left now is final finish on the guitar body itself, and then electronics. And then I should be rolling. So this is my video number 2 for the Great Guitar Build Off. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe if you like what you see. And thank you, and until next time, have a great day.